We only have this extra.
This is Frank Skinner.
Absolute
Radio.
That was Phantom Band with... I don't know if it's a glamour or a glamour, but that's what it was. I really liked it.
Starting with controversy.
Yeah, early on, I'm already confused. I think what it is, we're coming from Birmingham today, so we're at the studios of BRMB.
That's not their jingle. You've made that up.
It used to be 30 years ago when I used to listen to it. But I've noticed the stalls are higher at BRMB than they are at Absolute. Yeah. So my feet aren't touching the floor.
And they don't move either. I was trying to move it, and you can't because there's no wheels.
Stop moaning. Do you know what I like?
No, but I'm not
Gareth looked at me in a very hurt fashion. I was only teasing.
I'm trying to help.
We've got a visitor, haven't we, in the studio, which I quite like.
Yeah, I'm not sure about it.
Why?
Hello,
I love the visitor.
We have a young man from BRMB who's watching over us in case we have technical problems. And I feel like, you know, when sometimes the teacher would come in and there'd be another teacher who sat at the back of the class and watched the teacher teaching. That's what I feel like. I feel like he's come in to, God, you should have said that Frank Skinner on Saturday morning, pressed the wrong button twice. I think it's going to be like that, you know, around the water cooler. They haven't got a water cooler.
No.
I'll tell you what they've got at BRMB when I came in. There was a 3-disc display of Shaggy albums.
Was there?
I mean, have I stepped into a time machine?
3 Shaggy albums? Wow.
I know, I didn't know that.
Many.
Who knew he had it in him?
God, yeah, he's big somewhere.
Right.
He was a me. Yeah. Just for those of you who don't remember.
That's your autobiography
Can you
title.
think of another? What's another Shaggy track?
Mr. Bombastic, totally fantastic.
Is that him?
Yeah.
There's one that's got Joe. Is it? Oh God, I like that. Is that him? That's him.
I think that was the original
That's
one.
probably.
Was it?
Yeah. I don't know what that anyway. Any Shaggy fans who want to text us with some interesting details from his life or career, or the life and careers of his family. I imagine he comes from a musical family, Shaggy. I mean, that just doesn't come from nowhere, that kind of talent.
Oh, that name. That's a funny old name to give a child.
Well, I'm not going into it. I'm not
Extraordinary.
going... What? Yeah, obviously tremendous foresight on the part of the parents. I wonder what the clue was when they looked at him. Anyway, we're coming live from Birmingham. You can text us about absolutely anything on 8, 12, 15. I mean, anything. We won't necessarily read it out, but I'd just like contact.
I think, text David. I think he's going to take over the show by the end of it. I've got that feeling.
Who's David?
Isn't he called David?
James
Oh,
is
James,
called.
sorry.
You're thinking of David James.
Of course.
He's called
I hope
David.
David James isn't watching
James,
over the
I'm
show.
really sorry I got your name wrong. That's awful, Frank.
She does that to everyone she meets deliberately, just to set up status, so don't feel bad
I'm
about
so
it.
sorry.
Our guest is Shazia Mirza today, who's from Birmingham, I think.
Oh, yeah, I know her, actually. She's a showbiz friend.
Is she really?
Yeah.
Well, you know her more. I don't know anyone. What
No,
is it with me? I say, what is it with me? Hold on,
I'll make a
I'm
list.
scratching. Did I shout then? I watched the One Show last night.
Oh.
Right. Chris Evans, is he needs to Google microphone.
Why?
Because he shouted at every... I couldn't stand it anymore.
Oh.
It was like being... it was like going out with
It was
someone
like being
much
near Chris
younger.
Evans.
You know when you go out with someone who's much younger and you realise after... I don't know about this. If you're a man of my age and say you're around a woman, attractive as she may be in her 20s, it's a bit like sometimes when you're in a third world hotel room and you think, well, I can either have the screeching loud noise of the aircon or I can be hot. I think I'll be hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, last night it was like that. And he was, yeah, everybody, go on. Stop it. Please stop shouting.
He's probably forgotten how TV works. He thinks, well, they can see me, but I need to really speak up if they're going to hear me
I mean,
as well.
let's face this is a man much more experienced in broadcasting than me and much more successful. I'm not, who am I to...
He's won a Sony Gold.
He's won many Sony Golds.
And he's got a spotted shirt.
And I think he won an Olympic medal for shouting. There is a shouting event. Not so much screech. I'm calling it screeching now at this point. Anyway, there'll be lots of people now texting on 8, 12, 15 saying if you had half the talent, half the talent of Chris Evans, you'd be in hospital.
Frank on
radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute radio.
Someone's texted in 121
121, are you testing the microphone?
saying the only fact
love
I know
numbers.
about Shaggy is that the first time he heard his own song on the radio, he was serving in Iraq. I didn't know that. It's quite interesting.
Wow.
The war in Iraq started when Shaggy's first...
Well, clearly it had.
No, he was just... he was in a bar. That's why he was serving in Iraq. Yes,
the
mate.
first one.
What's it going to be? Oh, hold on a minute. Oh, go on later. This is my record. Oh, go on later. Stop everything. Can I have those drinks, please? Just wait a minute. I'm listening to my... Oh, go on later. That's a little moment there from the life of... So he was a hero.
Yeah.
I know. There I was thinking he was... yeah. Shaggy in the army, I know, it's serious. Anyway, you're probably wondering, the people who haven't switched off, why we're in Birmingham today. And it's for my benefit, I'll be honest with you. I need after this, I will shoot across. I'm talking about shoot across to nearby Lichfield in Staffordshire. It's about 20 miles away.
So is that quite near? Oh, it's 20 miles away, OK.
Yeah, and because I'm going to be inaugurated. It's overdue.
I love an inauguration.
I'm going to be inaugurated as the president of the Samuel Johnson Society. Samuel Johnson was an 18th century writer who wrote, you may know, he wrote a dictionary.
Well, he did.
Yeah. Actually, I've got some, it just so happens, I have some definitions from that very dictionary.
Oh, God.
What about this then? The cough, right? Cough.
You're reading it from the dictionary.
Yeah. Cough, a convulsion of the lungs velicated by some sharp serosity. I hate it when that happens.
And,
I need a dictionary for that.
Yeah, we need
definition.
to look up the V word you said.
Yes, and serosity, probably.
Serosity.
That's it with dictionaries now, isn't it? Once you're in, you're in. And I've always thought that.
You don't need a dictionary anymore, though, because you just have spell check and Google.
What about this, though? Kickshaw, a dish so changed by the cookery that it can scarcely be known.
Wow, a kickshaw. That's brilliant. I'm using that.
Bit of a kickshaw, this is. That was me spitting, not... Yeah, so that Samuel Johnson, who was a sort of a literary... He used to... He got depressed. He used to get the depression.
Oh, did he?
And he used to walk from Lichfield to Birmingham.
Oh, so it was quite a modern condition, depression.
They probably called it something else then.
Yeah.
I think they probably called it...
A black heart
melancholy.
Or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and he used to walk to Birmingham, which is, like, say, about 18, 20 miles, and then he'd walk back again. He used to get it off. So those of you at home on antidepressants... Try that. Just go and walk 40 miles. You'll feel all the different for it. I'd split it. I'd walk 20 one way and 20 the other, or you'll be depressed because you're 40 miles from home. But, yeah, try that. And he's famous for all sorts of quotes. There was someone once said to him that a woman was preaching. Obviously, this is a normal thing now, but then was quite unusual. And I think this quote sort of combines that move in the Church of England to have women priests. And also the last series of Britain's Got Talent. Because he said, hearing a woman preach is like seeing a dog walk on its hind legs. It is not done well, but one is surprised to see that it is done at all.
A 70s chauvinist, how dare he?
Well, he was a sort of an 1870s chauvinist. That's a bit different, isn't it? But, yeah, so I was a big fan of it. So I'm really excited about being the president of the society.
Oh.
I'll be honest with you.
Well, I can't wait to hear about it. We weren't invited.
And there was another
you
one.
were embarrassed of us that we'd I think you thought we'd let the tone down.
Yeah, well, I think so. And
oh, God.
I have to deliver a half-hour paper tonight. I have to deliver a paper. I've got the satchel and everything. I don't know whether I'll go right up to the door. I'll do American style and just throw it onto the lawn and see what happens. No, I have to deliver a sort of academic, an half-hour speech about Samuel Johnson.
Oh, God.
Can I give you one more quote, then we'll move on? Because
yes,
you don't get enough of this on
that's
commercial radio. He once went backstage. He was a friend of David Garrick, the actor, and he said, I'll come no more.
Backstage.
He says, I'll come no more behind your scenes, David.
Oh, dear.
He said, because the silk stockings and white bobbies of your actresses have excited my amorous propensities.
That's what you said when you went to see Girls Aloud backstage.
It was I said exactly that. They just looked at me. I hate it when they do that, Girls Aloud.
This is Frank Skinner
Absolute
Radio.
So they asked her if she wanted to go to rehab, and she said no.
Really?
Did they say, all right, I heard you the first time? Go on about it. Just trying to help you. It doesn't make any difference to me one way or the other. I just thought, you're getting a bit of a mess. You need a bit of assistance, but okay. You can text us on 8 12 15 about all sorts of stuff. But I tell you what I would like to people to text about. I was talking about Samuel Johnson. I'm not going to go on about him anymore. But one thing, although he was a great literary figure and a great writer and all that.
Good hair as well.
Amazing. I thought as a wig. But he...
had a slightly pockmarked face because of the scrofula.
Scrofula, yeah. You've been Googling, haven't you?
Wikipedia, yeah.
Yeah. Apparently he had Tourette syndrome as well, but we won't go down that road. Okay. Anyway, one thing he wouldn't...
Forsooth!
Forsooth! I think you're a century or two too early. He actually had a very strange... He had 17th and 16th century Tourette syndrome. So he said forsooth. Anyway, listen, we're losing listeners by the dozen.
Yeah, go on.
At the moment. What he wouldn't do is when he walked down the street, this was the early day of the paving slab, he wouldn't step on the cracks.
Oh.
Do you remember that thing at school when you're out if you step on the crack? He wouldn't do that. He couldn't.
Fall and break your back.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
is that the,
step on the cracks, fall and break your back.
Oh, we didn't say that in London.
Yeah, didn't scan.
We just said driver. So he didn't like stepping on the cracks.
He wouldn't do it. He thought it would spoil his day in some way.
Oh.
And I just wondered if any of our...
That's like OCD, then.
Like, I do salute. If I see one magpie, I salute them.
What?
One for sorrow. Even if I'm out in a
You salute a bird?
I salute, yes.
Salute a boot.
I salute a boot, and why shouldn't I? Sorry, is this I salute a boot? I was walking around the yard and I saluted a boat. No, what happened? What happens is if I see a magpie, one for sorrow, you're supposed to salute. You're supposed to say, "Good morning, Mr. Magpie." But I think that's ridiculous.
Can't do that.
I just do the salute.
Embarrassing.
Sometimes I've been in a crowded London street. I've seen a magpie, and I've just scratched my head a bit. It's a very very low-key salute, just something between me and him.
But they know what you're doing.
Well, the magpies do. I'm hoping other people do. I can't do a full-on click the heels and,
Oh, Frank, you're not saying good morning, Mr. Magpie.
I don't say that, no.
You'll be incarcerated.
No, I don't say that. I just do the salute. But then sometimes, obviously it's two for joy. If you see two, you don't have to do the salute. But sometimes I'll salute and then I'll see a second one and I think, well, now where does that put me?
Oh,
you can't
all
withdraw.
Sorts of trouble with the magpies.
You can't withdraw some sort of avian salute. I think that's something I've always.
I have that slight OCD thing. It's not actual OCD, is it? It's obsessive compulsive disorder,
yeah.
And it's like like David Beckham has to line up the Coke cans. He has like a minor strain of it. He says because he has to. All the Coke cans in his fridge have to be completely symmetrical. He can't have the Coca-Cola thing facing the other way. Oh, I keep mentioning a brand. We could be sponsored by them. I love it. Yes. So what I have is, are you going to say something else? Are you going to say something minty? No, you're not.
No, I'm not. I want to know. I want to know what you're thinking.
Okay, so what I do is my glasses in my cupboard, not spectacles, my drinking glasses.
Yeah.
I have a weird thing. I have to have the tumblers at the front and the champagne glasses at the back. So they have to go in a certain descending order of height. That
surprises me because I'd have thought the champagne glasses are almost never in on the cupboard. They're always in the dishwasher. I would have thought.
Oh. Well, so they can all see you when you open the cupboard door.
Yeah.
If the tall ones are at the front, the little ones won't be able to see you.
That's a good point. You know what they say? If you can see the camera can see you.
Exactly.
So if any of our listeners have any odd OCD thing, little rituals they have to do. I mean, not someone who's absolutely madly suffering with it who's going to send a big long... I mean, come on. It's no good calling us. There's other people for you to call. There'll be a phone line of some kind. Anyway, text us on 8 12 15 for your little oddities. I like a little oddity. I don't know about you, Mr. Holmes.
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
That was a quick one. Yes, that was Deer Hunter.
No, it wasn't.
It was. It was Deer Hunter.
Was it?
Primitive 3D. Yeah, it's the name of the band.
Oh, God.
How many songs have they got? Are we going to have to play all of them?
No.
And then that one after.
That's the only reason he played it, so he could play Deer Hunter.
I really like that song. It's very good. Have we had any texts?
Well, Dave from Staines says, Frank, when I see a magpie, I say, Good morning, Mr. Magpie. I hope I find thee well. How mad is that?
I mean, that's a conversation. That's not a greeting, is it? I mean, one anticipates a response from the magpie of some kind.
I like that. And we had another text in, actually, Frank, this week it's about Birmingham. It concerns you and Birmingham. Would you like to hear it?
Did you say Birmingham?
No, Birmingham.
OK, carry on.
It's from Birmingham. He's called Luke Bailey. And he says, Dear Frank, Emily and Gareth, yesterday I was travelling to work on the bus listening to your wonderful podcast and laughing along to the story of Frank sleeping on a central reservation. Yes, that always tickles my fancy as well, that story.
This was from my drinking days, by the way. I wasn't bitten by a tsetse fly, if that's what you're thinking.
He mentioned that it was the one between Five Ways Island and Broad Street. At that very moment, the bus passed over that exact location, and I was looking at the exact spot where Frank must have lay all those years ago. Truly amazing. I thank you for that fantastic visual I was able to achieve.
How lovely. That's like when you get to Tate Gallery and you get the headphones and it tells you about each painting as you go past. How did you know it was the exact spot?
I don't know.
Have they had my outline done? Like on a murder scene. They've had it done in primroses.
Well, they do have your picture of you on Broad Street, don't they, Gar? Tell Frank what we saw yesterday.
We saw a picture of you on Broad Street.
OK, that's reiteration. That is a conversation.
When you had your star on the Walk of Fame, is it?
No, shame.
Shame.
No, you've got the Walk of Shame, you don't get a star.
The Broad Street on the pavement. And
I always get a star on the Walk of Shame.
Oh, God, at least.
Go on.
You've had a few stars on the Walk of Shame, we know that. We won't name them.
Yes, it was you holding your star. And the other people who had won the star as well. We had our picture taken with your picture.
There was Noddy Holder, Jasper Carrot. It was like the weirdest family in the world.
I like the fact that we see each other on a regular basis, but you had your picture taken with my picture. Yeah. I'm happy to do it live if you want such a picture. But that's good. Yeah, OK, so that's a good email. Any more?
We've had another email. Dear Frank, a couple of years ago, I saw you loitering outside a multi-storey car park in Brindley Place.
I don't like the sound of that.
That's very near to where we are. Very near to where we are. It's virtually where we are.
Well, you were wearing a full-length coat as well as other clothes. Could that be right?
Full-length coat? Sounds like something out of The Matrix. I don't like a full-length coat.
He's wearing a full-length coat, yeah.
You gave me an extended look as if to say, please don't approach me.
I know that look.
In Birmingham.
Oh, so do I.
Did you not have your please don't approach me sign with you that day?
I did, but it was under my full-length coat. I couldn't get it out. I was in a full-length coat outside a multi-store. Yeah, I think what I'd done is I'd just stolen a smart car. And it was under the car. I have a pocket near the tail of the coat, a smart car pocket. Obviously, I was about to sell it to the people who reliably inform us that they buy any cars. So, any cars. I mean, they'll buy a burnt-out 1967 Vauxhall Viva from Waste Ground if you can get it to them, apparently. They'll buy corgi cars, dinky cars. What about that?
By all sorts.
Yeah.
I'm distracted by all the fabulous texts we've had in regarding OCD. Which,
that's good. Well, let's just do this first.
Welcome, Frank. This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
I've got a couple of texts that I'd like to read out about OCD.
Oh, yeah?
The listeners love this OCD thing. Oh, they love it.
Do they?
Yeah. We've got Sean from Watford. Before I go to bed, I have to hit the 3 canvas pictures on the wall as they sound like drums.
Oh, I wonder what they are, the 3 canvas pictures.
It must sound like the ending to EastEnders. I love it.
What do you imagine they are? The 3 core sisters, maybe?
Oh. Maybe it's a triptych of some sort.
What about
medieval
Tom?
triptych.
Have they not thought of... Was it Tom or Tom?
It's
Core?
Sean from Watford.
No, but Tom, was it Tom Core?
They're not Tom-Toms, they're pictures.
Was he called Tom Core?
Who's Tom Core?
Who's Tom Core? Were you listening to what we just said?
No.
Oh, man.
I have another one that I like, which is I cannot set my morning alarm to a symmetrical number like 6 a.m. It needs to use non-sequential numbers like 6:02 from Strange Richard in Sevenoaks.
I see.
I don't think he means symmetrical. I don't know why 600.
Picky. We know what he means. He doesn't want He doesn't want a nice, neat number. He wants 602 or something like that.
I understand.
I think that's isn't that also psychological that you're slightly cheating the world by having an extra 2 minutes.
Oh, I get it. I do that a little bit as well. Maybe Strange Richard and I might be happy bedfellows. You never know.
Well, as long as you're happy to get up at 6:02.
I'd be very happy.
Frank, I will not talk or breathe when I walk past a monkey puzzle tree.
Oh.
I'm not sure why, but as a child, someone told me something terrible would happen if I did. To this day, I still do it. I'm 38 years old.
I like the last bit, as if the man has been to some sort of monkey puzzle tree rehab, and you have to say that at the end.
The sense
From
of shame.
132.
Oh, I've got one more that I really like, which is from Don. When I eat baked beans, I have to leave one on the plate to give it a sense of identity.
That's, yeah. What you want to consider is the people in the third world who would give anything for that
That
bean.
one baked bean.
That one get back. They end up in the being alone.
Yeah.
In between a copy of a newspaper and probably some, when you get that bread that you don't quite get to and it goes a bit blue. Be next to that.
Do we have a helpline people could call? Because some of these they might actually need.
Don't be
talk
derogatory about our listeners.
I'm not being
talking about
derogatory,
ever.
I'm
I'm
quite
talking about
worried
ever. I mean ever. Don't ever do it. Okay. Oh, I saw the Pope yesterday. I was.
How was he?
He looked all right. He looked well.
Did he?
He was.
He was in the little Pope-mobile.
He was
I
in the
like that.
Pope-mobile.
I want a pink one of those.
It's,
Love it. With a little man in
it's
it.
I was really. I was
you?
right on the barrier on Lambeth Bridge in South London, and
Because that's your manor, that sort of area.
that is my manor. And he went, but he looked straight at me, smiled.
Did he?
Yeah.
What do you do with them? Do you bow or something? Is there a...
I just nodded.
You didn't genuflect?
Yeah. I thought
Good morning, Mr. Magpie.
No, you don't have to do that with Pope. There probably is one. If you're looking around for the second Pope for joy, you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
That could have happened, of course, in that time when there was actually 3 popes. But anyway, so he went past, and I think he mouthed, "When's fantasy football coming back?" I could have been wrong about that. But he looked straight at me and waved. I was properly thrilled. It was
But
brilliant.
can I just say, there's obviously, we should say when we're talking about the Pope, there's been a lot of controversy about the Pope, and it's to do with his shoes and who designs them.
Yeah, well,
It's
his red shoes.
Yeah, people have been discussing. Now, I'm quite obsessed by the red shoes, I have to say. A lot of people say they're designed by Prada, but everyone knows they're Adriano Stefanelli. And
Schoolboy error.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's been using that cobbler for quite some years now. I'm so obsessed by the shoes, I know quite a lot about them.
Well, Adolf Hitler used the same cobbler his whole life. So anyway,
I thought they were so he can go back to Oz whenever he wants.
Oh, but they are rather smart, aren't they?
They are lovely. Now, there is an option. There's a red slipper option. I don't know if you knew that for popes.
Oh, is that for indoorsy?
So
Like
indoors,
Uggs?
yeah.
Uggs.
Yeah. And there's a red sort of velvet slipper. But apparently Benedict, he don't like the slipper. So he keeps on the red leather shoe indoors.
Oh, I like him for that.
Yeah. But he's one of those people, when they come round your house, they keep the outdoor shoes on. You're thinking, we can't.
Frank, that'd be a good present for him. A scarlet Ugg. Oh, he'd love that. Scarlet Ugg for the Pope.
Yeah, that would be a nice idea.
Yeah.
To go with his Mazzetta.
Yeah.
That's his little cape thing.
Yeah.
I've noticed that seeing the Pope-mobile close up, it looked very, very similar to an ice cream van. And he looked, because his heart, there's like a little section halfway up. If there'd been Ave Maria going... That's what he should do. He shouldn't have official things. He should just drive around England in his ice cream van mobile, stop, play religious music, and all the Catholics would all run out to gather round. I think that would be absolutely marvellous.
We only have this extra.
This is Frank Skinner
Absolute.
Radio.
Oh, Roll Away Your Stone by Mumford and Sons.
Can I just tell you, we've had a great text in, Frank,
Oh,
from
do tell me.
Joe in Sutton. Says, Frank, can you tell Emily the Pope would never wear Prada, as the devil wears Prada? Oh, that's good, isn't it?
I believe the devil is on tour, I think in October. He's coming through London.
I love you, Joe. I don't love you, but
No, that's
quite fond of you.
That's a very fine joke. He had that little hat that they.
I know the little hat.
Yeah, they got like a little bit on the top, like he's been picked and they've left the stalk on.
Like a cherry stalk.
He had that. It's like the sort of top of an acorn. The sort of the cop of an acorn. It looked like that. The hat. It looked like, say, if they'd sent up an acorn to That's Life and they've said, look at this acorn, it looks like an 83-year-old man. And we've left. That's what he looked like. He had this look. Even as he disappeared over the bridge, I could still see the little stalk sticking up. That's what I'll always remember.
I love the satin stalk.
Yeah, it's not. Well, I think
No,
that's
it's satin, that cap.
Is it really? He had his Mazetta on. He had his, the red cloak.
Oh, yeah.
But I noticed
Capes are very in as well, Frank.
Yeah, well, he had the summer one, which is satin, because there is a fur one, like a red.
Oh, for AW 2010.
Yeah, that's why, exactly. Yeah, he's sticking with summer. He hasn't gone AW yet. And,
SS.
It's red with a white fur. It's got a Santa baby type of.
I
feel. Do you know what I mean? When you see sexy women do Santa baby and they're little, it's like that. He's Mr. Fashion.
Yeah.
And it's all happened. They had Susan Boyle sound.
Well, apparently, although I was a bit mortified to see Subo. Now, pleased as I am for Subo, makeover. What did concern me was the coat she was wearing. Did you see it? It had a sort of large...
a black coat.
Yeah,
had a bomber jacket, was it?
No.
Was it a leather bomber?
Had a very big faux fur collar.
Oh yeah, I did see it.
And black double-breasted.
I thought that was sideburns. Yeah.
It was very elegant. So elegant, in fact, that I have that coat.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You've got the same coat as Sue Boyle.
Oh, right, yes.
I presume yours doesn't have sick on.
She said it's a great honour to sing for the Pope, and it's something I've always dreamed of. Oh. You think she's always dreamt of singing for the Pope?
Why not? You're calling Susan Boyle a liar.
Yeah.
Maybe she has very vivid prophetic dreams.
That, I must say, would not surprise me.
Frank on
Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Yeah, it was the police. I say yes.
That's what George Michael said.
God, I hate it when the police hang around. Oh,
well, that's what George Michael said as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Hates it when the police hang around.
Oh, you can text us on 8 12 15, and our guest in not too long now is Shazia Mirza, who's a bit of a local hero in these parts.
Oh, yeah. She's a friend of mine as well.
Yeah, George Michael. I mean, it's for the best, isn't it?
What, him being in Chokey?
I think it is. Oh, yeah.
That's what my criminal...
Have you met Chokey? I mean, he's a nice bloke.
Thanks.
Sorry. I think it's
I know a lot of the prison terminology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, okay. No, I just don't want him. I don't want George Michael free while the Pope mobile's on the street. I mean, there could be a terrible international, because he could come out of any side road, couldn't he, asleep? So now I'm starting to think, has anyone actually asked George if he can drive? I mean, in court, has anyone checked to see if he's got a licence? I think he might be someone who just bought a car on a whim one day and thought, well, it can't be that difficult.
And has discovered he finds it very, very boring.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He's probably only driven it once in the Club Tropicana video.
Did he drive one in that?
I think he did, yeah.
Oh, I can't remember the Club Tropicana video. I've got too much on my mind, to be honest, today.
So is George.
He certainly
He's
has.
got a lot of thinking time in that prison.
Yes, I tell you something, when he comes out, George, I'm in prison.
Yeah. I was going to say that ship has sailed.
I don't want anyone to tune in and think, God, this is a very old show. When he comes out of prison, did you know his boyfriend?
Kenny Goss.
Kenny Goss, yeah. He, do you know what his job was in America?
No.
No.
Is he in South Park?
He wasn't in South Park, no, that wasn't him. It was... he was a cheerleader coach.
Wow.
Extraordinary profession.
Yeah, that's what he did. He trained cheerleaders. And I thought, when George comes out of prison, you could really put on quite a display, couldn't you? Yeah. Go, George. Or something like that. It'd be really lovely. Because he's got to get his own back. Because apparently when he arrived in prison, the prisoners were all singing freedom and stuff like that, and being a bit
Oh, they
sarcastic.
will do that.
So when he leaves in probably about 4 days and goes, he's worth not going back to his Hampstead mansion. I think he should have a little bit of a go back on the way out.
Yeah.
He laughs last.
I liked it when he said to his lawyer on the way in, apparently when he was sentenced, he went, I told you. Yeah.
What did he tell him?
Well, he obviously got angry with the lawyer. I don't know.
I told you have to stay awake while you're driving. You said it was all right. I just don't get. It's a very strange. What do you do? I mean, I know it's only 8. Let's say he does 8 weeks, and they're having to keep him away from everyone else, so he doesn't have a cellmate. I mean,
Is he in solitary?
I'd have thought after what he did for Andrew Ridgeley would have just gone out and hit an old age pensioner this week just for solidarity. They could have put him in the same cell. It would have been like the old. They could have had Pepsi and Shirley in the next cell.
Oh yeah, some on briefs would have loved it.
Oh man, can you imagine it? The white t-shirts. But he's in on his own. What do you do? What do you do for 8 weeks sitting in a cell?
Well, you see, I think you'd be quite good in prison, Frank, because I think you'd be one of those ones that would start. You know, you'd be at the tuck shop or something. You'd be organising.
Yeah.
I think, and creating reading groups. You'd be a crier, Gareth. I'm sorry, but you would.
I'd be a crier, yeah.
You
I'd
would.
be the first to break.
Yeah.
New fish.
They'd go, "Hey, we've got a crier here, mate."
New fish. Is that what they
Yeah,
call them?
I think so, in Shawshank Redemption.
You can't base your prison experience on that.
I'd work it. Why not?
I'd escape. I'd be sprung from the mall because I know people.
Well, you certainly do. Yeah, but Jimmy Carr's not going to get you out. I thought he could call Mr. Loophole.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a shame, really, that George is in, because the one person who could ram raid a prison is George Michael at the wheel of the car.
that is. Do you think someone will be picking him up when he goes out? Maybe he'll do that Mike Tyson thing and come out like, covered in tattoos. And,
Oh, I love it when they do
full-length
that.
Laddie Grayson down the back. That'd be
The
brilliant.
prison album, I'm looking forward to the prison album.
That'll be
I think
great.
he's got time to write, really concentrate on his music.
Oh yeah.
We might do that. You're right. I've always thought exercise. If I was in prison, I'd do a lot of exercise. That's always been my dream.
Out in the yard.
No, I think I could do it in myself. I've always wanted. We don't have to. I need to go on to the next thing. Can I just tell you this?
Okay.
I've always thought I'd really like to strengthen my grip.
What?
I think it's
my
a very
God.
underestimated skill. If you could develop.
A skill.
If you had a couple of very hard rubber balls and you could spend 8 weeks just squeezing them.
I think we better play a song.
I've often thought that'd be. Then if you were mobbed, you could take someone's wrists in one vice-like grip, their ankles in the other, put them round your neck like a glorious pashmina, and go straight to the police station.
I tell you, who's got a good grip is Chokey.
Yeah.
This is Frank Skinner
Absolute.
Radio.
There you go. That's the Fall.
Oh, I'd never have guessed.
Yeah, with Birmingham School of Business School, and Shazia Mirza has joined us.
Hello.
Hello, you're all right on that stool.
I
You
look
don't-
like a midget, don't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never realised you were a midget before. That's not a bad thing to be. Can we make that clear?
Yeah.
That's the official absolute policy. We're pro midget.
I look
Yeah.
like I'm talking from under the desk.
You sound.
Hello, everyone.
You sound fine, but I can't see you. It's like radio in many ways.
I look great under here.
Well, I'm sure you look good when you came in. I like you better taller. Maybe we could get a cushion for Shazia.
Is this because it's Birmingham? Is there a shortage of chairs? And
I think
Furniture.
BRMB, these are hard times
it's
all
hard
over
times.
the country.
let's get rid of all the chairs.
I mean, I think they stand sometimes, the DJs, for energy reasons. But
Do they?
We're not interested in that.
Terrible decision.
Yeah, exactly. So welcome, Shazia. Do you live in Birmingham?
No, I don't live here anymore, obviously, because I'm doing well. And I don't know why people are ashamed to say they're from Birmingham, because it looks quite nice now that it's finished.
Exactly.
Doesn't
When
it?
I first started doing comedy, everyone used to do jokes about Birmingham and
Yeah.
you never hear that anymore. It's gone up in the world.
Yeah, it's so glamorous, the bullring now.
It is. It properly. No,
Honestly,
but it really is.
That
Is it?
Primark has done it wonders.
I went to Harvey Nichols. Oh, it was lovely.
Oh, Harvey Nichols. Do they have one in Birmingham?
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, get with it, Shazia.
I wouldn't be here otherwise.
Everything's
But
changed.
Primark is like the flagship store on New Street, and
Is it?
I don't buy. I go there. I don't buy anything. I just go in there to see the fights.
I like the idea of going to Primark and not buying anything. You might
You
as
don't
well.
need to.
And it's so
You don't
cheap.
need to. You can just shoplift by accident. It's all those clothes on the floor.
Can I
Yeah,
say
just
that
think-
Absolute Radio absolutely disapproves of shoplifting in all manifestations. So Shazia, you're here working, basically.
I'm working. I love working. I'm always working.
Oh, good.
Good old Asian me.
And, Good old Aisha Mir. We're going to be playing that song later on. It's one of my favourites.
That Chaz and Dave.
In case you don't know Shazia, by the way, I should explain that she's Asian, so she can say that.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not actually. You're born in England, are you? But your parents are.
My parents are from Pakistan. I mean Birmingham. And
Okay.
no, I was born in Birmingham.
Okay.
And my parents are from Pakistan.
What worries me is there was a lot of heavy betting this morning that Shazia would say Birmingham at exactly 9:20, and she just said it.
Really?
So I'm thinking that might be something tied in with the cricket team. So anyway, so what are you playing? Is there anything we can plug, or is it all just sold out?
No, I don't know if it's sold out. I'm doing a show tonight in Birmingham.
There's always 2 or 3 tickets, even for sold-out gigs.
Yeah, they say it's sold out, but it's not really sold
exactly.
out. Because there's always 3 seats available. I don't know who they keep those for.
I don't know if they keep... people don't like to buy singles, because people like to sit next to their friend even though they don't speak to them for the show. It's a very strange phenomenon. So
But there probably are a few tickets available.
So where are you at?
At the Birmingham, at the Old Rep.
Oh, the old rep.
The Old Rep. I don't know. It's on Station Street in Birmingham.
I know it well.
I didn't think it was still alive, still there, but it's there.
That's
still
where
there.
Laurence Olivier started.
Really?
Yeah, that was his first company, I believe.
I'm going to be on stage where Laurence...
It's all gone arts programme on Radio 4.
Well, not that art programme. Oh, well, that's fabulous. And are you... you're touring at the moment, is that
And
right?
then I'm in West Bromwich next Saturday.
Oh, Frank likes it there, because that's where his team...
West
That's his team.
Bromwich at the New Public. The Public.
Oh, you're at that, the big arts centre, at 88 million quid thingy. That'll
It costs
be lovely.
a lot of money, but there's no one in it, so we need to get people in it.
Yeah. And you've been charged with that mission.
Yeah, it's quite nice. It looks like Wembley.
Does it?
It's Wembley, but it's in West Bromwich.
Yeah, that sounds all right to me.
Emily's laughing.
So, I'm just going to throw some random questions. What would you say was the highlight of your week, this week?
Oh, going to Kendal last night. I went to Kendal last night and I got lost because my sat-nav had run out of battery.
Kendal in the Lake District, is
yeah,
that one?
and
Where the mint cake comes from.
That's right, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And I was going to the gig and I got lost, and then some nice man got in my car and showed me the way.
You're very trusting. Some say too trusting.
He was 80 though. I mean,
so he can't carry a pickaxe.
I just thought, well, he can't run that far if something goes wrong.
Well, no, but if he's hacked your head off in the car and you're in some lay-by somewhere, he
was
won't have. He can saunter. He can
had
afford to saunter.
He had a very nice accent, and he was very nice. So I let him in.
That's all right.
He was very nice.
Well, no, I'm with you now, Shazia. Now you said
he
that.
offered me some sweets. And,
Oh, what? If there's any young single women listening, please don't follow Shazia's
it's true.
lead
He
on
offered
it.
me some sweets in the car, and he took me to the gig. And
Well,
so I
fair
let
enough.
him in for free.
And he was
Oh,
about
don't
80.
do that,
He
Shazia.
was really nice. It would have been bad if I'd charged him, wouldn't it?
Well, indeed. Well, yeah, well, I'm glad you made it here, because who knows who wanders around Kendal at night. Now, that's this week's phone in. Who wanders around Kendal at night?
They're all really nice people.
I'm sure they are really nice people. I'm not saying they are. Apart from, there is apparently one bad penny, but whether that was him or not, we'll soon find out.
I'm all right, I'm here.
Frank
Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
You know, that was Brandon Flowers with Crossfire. Shazia Mirza is our guest this morning. Shazia Mirza, who used to be a teacher,
Yeah.
and one of her pupils...
Well, I think I know who it was.
Go on.
Is he a bit of a rascal? He's such a rascal.
The
That's
Dizzy
right.
The Dizzy Rascal.
That's right, it was Dizzy Rascal.
How was he? Was he a rascal?
Awful.
Was he?
Awful. I mean, his real name is Dylan Mills. You know why they called him Dizzy Rascal?
No.
Because the teachers used to call him Dizzy, and some used to call him a right rascal. So he put these two together and called himself Dizzy Rascal.
So he was named
And
by
it's
the
much
teachers at
better.
your school. Did you contribute? Did you come up with either of those
no,
names?
mine were a lot worse than
Oh,
Dizzy
okay.
Rascal. He was really bad. And I saw him the other day, which was really odd. And he came running up to me and went, Miss! Miss!
That's what you
And I
want from
thought,
Dizzy.
no rapper should be calling any woman Miss in public. It just didn't suit him. Miss, do you remember me? I thought, oh my God, yeah, you're the reason I became a comedian.
So what was the nature of his naughtiness then?
Well, he used to I used to be a science teacher, so he used to open the lab windows, which were really big, and escape through them in the middle of the lesson. And he'd take.
Was there no door?
No, there was a door, but he'd go through the windows.
Goodness me.
And he'd take Bunsen burners with him.
Bunsen burners?
Like, honestly, there'd be a lesson going on. I'd be teaching something. He'd just grab some Bunsen burners and leg it through the window.
Was he selling them as scrap?
Probably. And then there was all these other kids that would follow him.
A Pied Piper of chemistry.
Yeah.
It's
the flame. Were they? You sure they weren't moths?
It was awful.
Yeah.
He was really bad. And then now I see him and he goes, "Miss, I wasn't that bad, was I?" And I was like, "You are terrible."
But it's what you want to hear about Dizzy Rascal. If you just said he was an absolute paragon.
He would never have become a rapper if he was really good. If he was a nice,
He'd be a biochemist now.
No, he wouldn't, because I was a crap teacher.
Do you think it's good practice for being a stand-up comedian now?
It was where I was teaching. It was so rough.
Was it?
It was so rough. I used to come into the class in the morning and they'd go, "Miss, when are you leaving? This is rubbish. When are you leaving? When are you going, miss?" I mean, I've never stood up in a gig and someone's gone, "Oh, when are you leaving? This is rubbish."
It'd be a killer heckle, wouldn't it?
"You are rubbish. When are you leaving?"
Oh, no.
No one's ever said that to me in a gig. I used to come into the classroom, they'd go, "Oh, not you again."
How old were these kids?
They were like 11 to 16.
Okay.
Oh, that's a hard age group, I think.
And I'm teaching them science. They're not interested in science. You know, they all wanted to be football players. They weren't interested in science. Neither was I. And so it was difficult. It was a bad relationship.
But science has become incredibly cool now,
Yeah.
of course, hasn't it? It's a great...
I don't know why I'm saying all this, because the thing is, tonight I'm doing this gig in Birmingham, and it's for the Science Festival.
Oh, okay. Is it about science?
No, I think they've invited me to do a show because I used to be a science teacher. And now I've just rubbished all that.
So that qualifies for the Science Fest. Just wear a lab coat. It'll be absolutely
That
fine.
was another thing. Dizzy Rascal used to pick up my lab coat and just wear it round the school.
I can't picture him in a lab coat.
Oh,
so
I
you
can.
He used to put a lab coat, just wear it round the school for fun. And every time I used to turn up to my lesson, I'd be wearing, like, "Where's my lab coat?" And I'd get it back and there'd be holes burnt in it.
Dizzy was styling it out.
Was there any hint of his sort of musical prowess?
A lot.
Really?
Because he wasn't interested in science or anything, but the kids, they were so bored. They used to just sit in the lab all day and just get rulers and pencils and just go like this all day for an hour, like in the middle of the lesson.
Yeah.
And I didn't realise, but that was his latest record.
It's easier than the classical world, isn't it? Where you have to sit around with an oboe.
Well, when he used to get kicked out of lessons, the music teacher always used to take him in and say, "Sit at the back and compose your own stuff." He was a great music teacher and he really encouraged him. And I think, and that's when he left, he was really passionate about his music. He loves his music.
This is the perfect biog, isn't it, for Dizzy Rascal? It's
Yeah.
exactly what you want to hear about
He said
Dizzy
he'd
Rascal.
die without his music, and I think that's absolutely true.
Shortly before stealing your lab coat and running off with a Bunsen
Blimey.
burner.
That's odd, because I'd die without this track.
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Shazia, you're staying with your mum and dad while you're in Birmingham.
That's right.
That must be lovely.
It is lovely, because I come home late at night, 3 in the morning, and my mum's got curries on the stove. "Would you like curry?" I thought, have you been staying up all night till I come home just so that you can give me some,
That's
you
lovely.
know,
It's amazing.
sargalo?
Yeah.
They're still up.
They're up. They don't sleep. And my mum, they don't. My mum's, she's always trying to marry me off. So she always, every time I come home, she goes, she stops people at bus stops. If she sees like an Asian woman at a bus stop, this is true, she'll go up to her and she'll go, "Do you have a son? Do you have a son? Because I have a daughter. Give me your number and we can arrange things." I swear, this is what she does. And I come home, she'll go, "I met this woman today at the bus stop. I've got her number. She's got a son, 35 PhD. Really good." I think she's got a list of numbers of all the single Asian men in Britain. She calls it the Islamabad Yellow Pages.
Does I've always thought the arranged marriages were somewhat brilliant.
So
about
do I.
it. I mean, hanging around in nightclubs trying to meet
yeah.
people when your
Tacky,
mum and
isn't it?
dad will do it all by post.
It's good, isn't it?
So much better.
People go on about forced marriages. Well, I think, I'd love my parents to force me into a marriage.
I doubt if they're listening now, they'll be saying,
Yeah.
you hear that? That's the green
They've
light.
got nothing better to do except make curries and arrange marriages.
And do they like you being a comic? Do they approve?
Well, they don't talk about it. I think it's like being gay. Like, we go home, we sit around the dinner table and nobody mentions what I do. They use euphemisms for comedy. And I went home the other week and Robin Williams was on TV and, you know, we were watching it and she couldn't say, oh, he's a comedian. She went, oh, he's one of your friends.
So have they seen you live?
Oh, God, no. It's all about them. I don't want them to come and see it. Because they actually wanted me to be a doctor, you know, because there aren't enough Asian doctors in Britain. And they wanted me to be a doctor, marry a doctor, have some little doctors, you know. I don't know why. But
Laughter is the best medicine. They should think of that.
no, they never laugh. They're so miserable.
Oh, that can't be true.
They just never laugh. They're like, oh, when are you getting married and stopping this nonsense on the motorway? They don't like me driving. They don't like me driving. They think I'm a lorry driver. They don't like me going up and down the motorway and coming back at 3 a.m. My mum goes, oh, the neighbours will get the wrong idea about you.
Yeah, especially if you forget to drop off the 80-year-old man. Arriving outside the house with him and just...
That's all I can get, Frank.
Well, you'll be up to your ears in Pendle mint cake. Look at it that way. Well, it's, they should be very proud, I think. Because you've done fantastically well, and you're on tour. Now, can I just end with a plug? So the tour is called what?
Multiple choice.
Okay. You've
Okay.
kept that teaching thing going, haven't you?
Is it A? No, it's not.
And it's all over, basically.
It's all over the... No,
All over the country. I don't mean it's ended.
It hasn't finished.
No,
it's all over. Don't come, everyone. It's over.
No, it's not over. I want to make
No,
that clear.
it's just started and it's all over the country. And it's started now.
Have you got a website they can look up dates?
It's on www.shaziamirza.com.
Well, there you go. Do go and see Shazia and don't tell her mum and dad if you see her. And if you're a handsome young Asian man, feel free to
Stay away.
text in. That'll be fine. Well, no, I meant more for Emily, to be honest.
Welcome. This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Yeah, a bit of sweet symphony by the Verve there, coming right at you.
Oh, it's disgusting.
I think I've been drinking out the BRMB mug. It's not too good. So look, all our regular listeners, I'm not going to do it. Yes, all 8 of them will be. I did
Thanks,
do it.
Chris Evans.
Yeah, they'll be thinking, well, hold on, Emily went to China last week. She didn't even mentioned it.
It's not all about me. Well, it is. But, yeah, I went to China, went to Beijing. Oh, my God, guys, I loved it.
OMG.
OMG, well done, Frank. I absolutely loved it. I was bartering in the markets for cashmere. I went to the Forbidden City,
You get
which
in?
is amazing. Well, do you know why it's called the Forbidden City?
No.
Because commoners weren't allowed in. So I decided that's a bit like my bedroom. But
Well, not every night. I think you have curfews and...
occasionally. There's an annual amnesty.
Oh, that's good.
And I met the last emperor's nephew.
Wow.
God, how old is he?
A bit too old for me, sadly.
Yeah.
He's about 65, 70.
Is that an Eddie Murphy film?
It's quite old for a nephew, isn't it? There should be an age when you stop being a nephew. Too old.
But you must go, guys. It's amazing there. But I was there to interview Kate Blanchett.
Indeed, that must have been exciting.
I loved her.
She's strangely ethereal, don't you
Oh,
think?
she's stunning.
She,
Very good
she
skin.
emanates light.
She does.
She does like those things at Halloween.
And very tall as well, and very kind of statuesque. And afterwards, I did the slightly naff thing. I felt a bit embarrassed because I said, oh, can I have a photo?
Did you?
Yeah, I had to. Oh, Frank, I had to.
That's great.
Had to go
we
far.
believed you.
And my parents were always very strict. Don't ask people for autographs, darling. But in
No,
this
my
instance,
parents never said that. I have to say.
Anyway, so I said, oh, Kate, can I have the photo? Oh, yeah, sure. Very down to earth and also lovely. Went to get the photo taken, and Kate she sort of snaked her lovely sinewy arm around me. I thought,
Smashing.
oh, that's nice. And then she suddenly thought better of it and took her arm off.
Oh, no.
I don't know what. Maybe she didn't like my perfume.
Did you have a parrot on the far shoulder? Just felt the talons and thought, no, I'm not going there. No, that's a bit...
It was a bit weird. So suddenly she thought better of it.
Oh.
I know.
So she just stood side on arms folded.
It was a bit like friend, not friend.
I think, yeah, she probably thought, oh, too familiar.
Do you do that when you have your photo taken?
Well, there was a period I had so many photos taken. This was in my glory years.
Yeah.
When I started to get a bit of repetitive strain syndrome in the right shoulder. And I had to move them round to the left arm. This is absolutely. I'm sure it must have been caused by something else. But I put the arm and I go, oh, just really feel a stabbing pain down the arm.
Fan shoulder, that's called. Fan
Is
shoulder.
it?
Is that fan shoulder? Isn't that where you have to put your furniture in a Chinese house? So
anyway, so that was. But it was such a great trip, but I did get very into the toilets over there, Frank, as well.
Yes. The forbidden toilet.
No,
or just
not the
ordinary?
forbidden toilets. You know, they have amazing loos. The loos are so amazing over there that they actually have a memory in them. So they remembered last time you used it.
Oh, no.
And they start warming the seat in anticipation.
There's a memory in the loo.
Yeah.
I never say Luke. I didn't like that at all.
I bet they've got some anecdotes, those new loos.
I bet they have.
There's things to say.
There's a memory in it.
Yeah.
You haven't got it
George
mixed up
Michael.
with an elephant.
No, it's definitely a memory.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't imagine someone coming out and saying, "Oh God, who's left a memory in the loo?" Oh no! What do they remember? That's what worries me.
They just...
Have they got photographic memory?
You walk in and they go, oh, God.
Not this one again.
They store your usage patterns.
You're joking.
No. No, I just mean in terms of what time of day you're using the toilet.
So they're ready for you when you arrive.
They
Yeah, so the
brace
seat's
themselves. They brace themselves.
Oh, what did they? Does the window open automatically?
No.
Okay. Well, what do you mean then?
So they remember, they start warming the seat and they open...
They don't.
They do. They do.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I was in Japan once and they had one of these electric ones that at the end of it you pressed the button and water came up like a fabulous
Oh,
fountain.
yeah, they've got those, yeah.
And you just sat and it thoroughly rinsed. And we were with but it was quite a direct jet. It wasn't... It didn't
direct hit.
It didn't spray out so that it was quite... I mean, you could adjust it slightly to get the target absolutely...
No, it's direct. There's no collateral damage.
I remember an Australian cameraman said to me, it got me right in the date. And I thought, I'd never heard that. They're very crude, aren't they? They're very crude. What do you
Not
what do you
Kate Blanchett.
Anyway, that's about it from us, actually. Next week's guest is Izzy Sooty, and we'll be back with Not the Weekend podcast on Wednesday. So that's all from us. Good day to you.
We only have this excerpt.
This is Frank Skinner
Absolute
Radio.